Welcome to the Planet 63 Virtual Business Matchmaking Show, the next evolution of discovering Philippine and U.S.-made products and services. This is the show that helps create global sales opportunities and bring Philippine and U.S.-made products and services go from local to global. Thank you for watching the show, and now please welcome the host of Planet 63 from Local to Global, Ferdinand B. Soriano.
Hi everyone, welcome to Planet 63's From Local to Global, the Experts Edition. Now, why do we call it the Experts Edition? Our regular show, it's really all about the guest presenters. They talk about their products and they're looking for this, tips and a connection with potential buyers like wholesalers, distributors, and online retailers. A majority of the time, those tips, suggestions, and feedbacks are given by the panel experts that currently are appearing on the show. Now, in this edition, we want to focus on getting our audience to know the caliber and the level of experience of the experts that we have on the show. On this third episode of Planet 63's From Local to Global, the Experts Edition, we have a logistics industry professional. That means he's involved mainly in bringing cargo from point A to point B. That could mean within a country or country to country or door to door. His company is based in the Philippines. He's been described as a self-made man. Before we introduce him, let me introduce my co-host on the Planet 63's From Local to Global show. Well, he's the co-founder of GMB Franchise Developer, and he's also the Philippine franchise guru. Please welcome my friend, Boots Bartolome.
Hey, good morning, good evening to all the people watching this show. Amazing. Really, we got a lot of viewers worldwide.
You seem surprised.
I am just flabbergasted because people are just calling me left and right and say, "How do I join the show? How do I join?" But I will give you the floor to to introduce and tell a lot of people watching this show right now how to join and be featured. Okay.
Well. Okay, at the end we'll get more into that. But for now, it's all about our guests. So I'm excited to have him here today. So let me go ahead and introduce him right now, okay? And I want to make sure I get this right. His company provides import-export services to exports producers, manufacturers, and traders of food products. Their business grew purely on word of mouth, which is a testament to the great customer service that they provide. His list of well-known customers include Purefoods Hormel, Magnolia, Anjo Farms, Monde, Nissin, Pixcel, Transglobal Foods, Incorporated, and so much more. Now, his logistics experience spans 4 decades. That's a long time. That's a long time to be in this industry, and obviously he's doing really well, very successful. Now, he is the managing director and operator of DCTT Shipping and Logistics Services. Please welcome, becoming a good friend of mine, Danilo Teofilo.
Hello.
Hi, Danny.
Sir Barney and Sir Boots. Good morning, Philippines, and good evening, USA. I'm nervous because this is the first time for me to be interviewed, but I think I can be of little enlightenment to some of our exporters, especially the newcomer. So hope this show will see them and they may be encouraged to do more business from the Philippines to the US and vice versa.
Well, one thing I wanted to add on to that is you're going to be really good. I mean, we're glad to have you in this interview because you have so much to offer, and obviously all of us are probably excited to have you here because we get to know a little bit more about you, as opposed to in the show we hardly get to really find out who you are, right, Boots?
Yes, right now, and being nervous, you're on your way to stardom, Danny. And by the way, Ferdinand, let me just clarify. Does Danny own the Teofilo coffee that we're having an advertisement?
Well, we have a sponsor that's actually a company in the U.S. I thought he was a relative, but I guess not. Maybe I'll show it later.
Well, the first time I saw it, I said, "Oh, there is advertisement. It's not me," but I have to clarify with Mr. Ferdinand.
No, it's okay. Now, Our show is going to be a 45-minute show, and there's so much to know about you, Danilo. I'm excited to kind of dig deep into what made you who you are, the type of business, and what you do to make a living, and how you help a lot of other people. Okay, so why don't we get started? And I'm going to start it with this first question. I told you at the last minute I'm going to try to tie it in, right? But what I wanted our audience to know is that the makeup of the show is about panel experts, right? And a lot of the experts are Philippines and US. And I'm excited because you're a part of it. But at the same time, I want the audience to know this first question, what persuaded you to join the panel experts of Planet 63 from local to global? Other than Boots twisting your arm.
No, I was encouraged because Ma'am Linda is a good friend of mine, the wife of Sir Boots. She knows me a long time. Then she told me about this program. Then I said, I am very interested to share whatever idea I have. What I am just planning is whatever little knowledge that I have, I can impart to some of your viewers so that especially the newcomer who wanted to make business can be encouraged and become part of the global business. Because in the Philippines, we have a lot of knowledgeable people who want to go into business, but sometimes they have a problem how to market their products. So you are the one to be the engine of development for these people.
Well, it's going to be a team effort. I'm just glad you're part of it, and you're going to impart us some question. I mean, impart us your knowledge and your experience. Now, let me go ahead and start off with the first question, Danny. When it comes to people's origins, right? Everybody has one. There's a reason why they got into the industry. So obviously, I'm going to ask, and a lot of our viewers are probably wanting to know all of that. So let me go ahead and start with the question: with how long have you been in the shipping and logistics industry?
Well, since I started as a general clerk in the shipping industry, because my company before, it is a multinational company, European company. Maybe you have heard, it's a Asiatic company limited before. They are into a lot of business, tobacco, coconut, and logging and shipping industry. Then one of the department, shipping industry, I used to help the people there as a general clerk. Then until then, they were convinced that they can take me as one of their clerk. So gradually, with that period, I stepped the ladder until I became a documentation manager in the shipping company. Then since then, spanning for decades, I never stopped doing shipping services. From being documentation manager when I retired from my company, I start my own small business with the help of those people who are exporters. I started without capital, but it is just the trust that I got from them, wherein they propel me to a gradual improvement of my services until we go this far. So I am so happy because a lot of people giving interest to us. Even I never do any advertising. The people who I serve are the one who recommended me to these newcomers or exporters that they encounter or having some problem in their shipments.
A lot of the things that in my mind is that you were dedicated, you worked hard, and to me that means a lot in terms of when you're starting up a business like that, right, Boots?
Yes, actually, I admire people like that. When I look at the origin, I admire because they have that kind of discipline and reaching out for their goal, and especially collaboration, which is what have been talking about in the show. You see, Danny, you would not have been helped by a lot of people if you have not done any kind of gratitude or kindness. No, so that's where you are right now, right?
Yeah, thank you so much for them because they really entrusted their shipments to us because they know that we will not sleep until we finish the problem.
Yeah.
And actually, I always tell my customers anytime, 24/7, they can call me up. maybe I will not be able to answer them if I'm asleep. But if ever my phone is ringing, then I will answer it without any hesitation.
Very good.
Amazing, amazing. Really, this guy is well. Don't well expect your phone to be ringing from time to time after this show. You know, with our cooperation and all the shows that we have. I think you better get an assistant or a virtual assistant, right,
Yeah,
Ferdy?
yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, you reach success because of just word of mouth. Imagine the consistency that we can just go ahead and give your message out, Danilo.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So, Brooks, did you? I was going to ask the next question, but I figured maybe you might want to ask the second question because I can talk. You know that.
Well, one of the things that you can, I like to ask is how can Danilo or DCT shipping help out an exporter, especially to the newcomer in the industry? You know, a lot of you mentioned it already. Uh, I am an entrepreneur. I have a business, and I want to go global, as we say, local to global. So, what can you advise them? Because there are a lot of people who love to do shortcuts or the pitfalls. Can you give us that kind of golden nuggets of advice, Dan?
Yes, sir. Actually, for those newcomer, I wanted to uh, tell all of you, my friends, that when we are starting, we should have to always find out if your market is going to the US, what are the regulations that you need to follow through so that when your shipment is ready for ship out, you will not incur any problem because shipping out, then having a problem at the end part will entails a lot of expenses that may bankrupt an exporter or a shipper. So, with our help, we can help you. What are the nitty gritty things about documentation, starting from sending the invoice, packing list, including the declaration with the U.S. Customs, like sending ISF, sending AMS. AMS is Advanced Manifest Security, wherein the U.S. are always demanding that to be declared so that when the cargo is just due to arrive, the customs already process your cargo, then immediately you can release it without problem so that you will not incur any storage, detention, or any other unnecessary expenses like penalty. Because in the US, if you don't file the ISF early, the import money filing information, then the penalty here is something like, if I'm not mistaken, something $7,000 to $10,000. So this one, it can be avoided if you get a party that will help you as third-party logistic to straighten up all the documentation and place you in a nice position without incurring any problem. That is my advice to them. And also, uh, the shipping terms, you must have to be very cognizant that the shipping terms, there is what we call FOB, CNF, then CIF. You should know what is FOB. FOB, it means your responsibility is to bring the cargo alongside the vessel, have it loaded, and all the expenses you have to take care of it. Then once the cargo is loaded on board, the consignee will take care of everything until paying all the freight and releasing at the destination. While the CIF, you have to quote the buyer, including freight and insurance. Then the buyer will just have to clear the cargo at destination, paying the duties, and they can clear it up. While the CNF, you just quote them cost of goods and freight. So it means you are responsible to
So,
up
yeah,
to
but
port
I,
of destination. Then the port of, yes, sir.
mm,
That is the important for the newcomer because if you don't know this, sometimes you quote a price wherein the buyer might not understand because you quote it including freight, but actually your price is something FOB, then you will lose money.
You know, Danilo, everything that you said, to all the people that are watching, people who want to export products or even, you know, to kind of educate the exporters from maybe the U.S. and trying to bring it into the Philippines, what you just said is a lot. You know, you make it simple, meaning the way you say it, but I think I know now the reason why you're successful and you grew your business, because I think what you have, and we've discussed this off camera to a certain degree, that in this business you need to be transparent. You need to have a spirit of education, educating people, and you have to be transparent. Like I said, you have to have that mindset, because doing export import, it can be daunting. You know, it can be hard. But at the same time, if you find a customs broker, freight forwarder that has the mindset of educating their client, it makes it that much easier, because that's what people need. That attitude actually encourages more people to be able to export, right, Boots?
Yeah, I would tend to agree on that, because I'm not just getting somebody to ship my goods, but rather to help me out. Because I may know my business, but shipping it out, I need to outsource to some expert, like Danny, for example, who gives me the transparency. Because a lot of times, what really irritates is that they will tell you, Ferdinand, you need this, and you have no more. You're in the corner of the wall.
Yeah.
You're incurring additional expenses, and then they'll say, we have a problem. I said, what? You have a problem? I thought you are an experienced. Yeah, but we never expected this. And that's where you get the expert, with the experience and the trust and transparency.
Okay, just so to prove a point, to add on to what you're saying, Danilo, when it comes to when you're educating the client, do you take a lot of time to do that, to educate them? I'm assuming you do. I mean, do you have a process and how you teach people how to export import?
Yeah, we do that. Actually, at the first time, especially the new one, sometimes we assist them how to make the packing list, the invoice, interpreting the letter of credit. Sometimes there are some orders through letter of credit. So we also help them out to negotiate this, because some opener of LC, they impose a lot of restriction, making it difficult for the exporter to follow. So I always demand to my customer to immediately give me the LC so that I can interpret it and follow through with all the necessary documentation. That is important, because some exporters, they want to produce, but they sometimes uh, maybe delegate the other nitty-gritty things to some service provider like us. That is what we are doing.
Well, again, a lot of those things that you do, if if your mindset is to teach, to me, that'll be the key to the growth of your company, because especially in the Philippines, or also obviously in the U.S., making these things easier and finding out ways to make it easier, obviously will encourage more exporting and importing, and that's great for the economy, wherever economy, U.S. or the Philippines. We need to do that, right, Boots?
Yeah, but when he mentioned about the letter of credit, reminded me of who else? Mr. John Dunlop, right?
Yeah, you good memory, my friend.
Of course, that's the effect of getting vaccinated, Ferdinand.
You didn't actually lose anything in terms of when you got.
I think I added more brain cells, if I. But anyway, but Danny, I think what you were part of the first show, John Dunlop, who mentioned about the facilitation of the letter of credit, which you found it to be very, very. It's an answer to your prayer, right? For a lot of exporters, don't you think so?
Yes, sir. I really wanted that institution to help the exporters and importers, because they have the financial capability to help people, especially striving business people, to buoy up their production, because sometimes you have an order, big order, but you lack capital, so you need some financial support. Then with them, maybe they can help, because some LC, the exporter with proper connection with the bank, they can apply for a packing credit. This one can help them to finance the production. Then after finishing the production, then they can ship it out, their shipments. Uh, Mostly nowadays, I find out that all successful business, they are moneyed people. They have the capital, then they use people to just do the production. But with us, small people from the poor, we need to be buoyed up with other institutions that are very liberal in giving help and assistance, so that our country can thrive to be an economic power, because we have a lot of poor people but knowledgeable, but don't have the capability to finance them. That is, I really think how we can help these people. Then with that Mr. The Dunlop institution, maybe we can help them, how to help them to make and avail the finances being offered by this institution. Maybe Sir Woods, being in the industry, can help them, especially you have a lot of friends in the export and logistics services. Maybe you can help them too.
I'm sure Brooks can do that all day long, right, Brooks?
But I'm touched because what you said is people who can export are usually have money. But what about the micro small entrepreneurs, no? Who are here? I mean, I can only produce this much, but I don't have money to export. Okay, and really, with John Dunlop's ITF institution, they can really avail of this, and really, it will make things better and really be able to make us bounce back, right? Especially with this kind of pandemic that we are in.
Before I go to the next question, I want to add on to what you just said. I think overall, sometimes I can get on my little soapbox, in terms of saying something about the whole trade in terms of making it easy. I think there's tremendous amount of opportunity in the world market. Obviously, you're not going to forget that there's still a global pandemic. But with that being said, moving forward, each country just has to truly figure out ways to adapt to different ideas, especially when it comes to how do you get paid quicker, because obviously with everything it's all about getting paid in terms of the transaction. How do you make it so that it's not of a hassle? How do you make it so that everybody is comfortable in doing that and having your hands held? And that's what you were referring to with John Dunlop of ITF Global. So that's sort of a good segue to my next question to you before we go on our product alert break. My question before we go on the break, Danilo, is that I'm sure that in every industry, every job, there's always a problem or a challenge, right? So with me, what is the most memorable or what is the most common problem that is being encountered by exporters, and how do you help them? So tell me a little bit about that. Danilo, did you hear what I said?
I think we had a gap there. We had a gap.
Okay. Danny, let me just ask that quick question again. What are the most common problem that you think is being encountered by exporters, and how do you think DC logistics and shipping can help?
Well, normally, some exporters, they have the problem like negotiating their shipments. Sometimes the payment, it's on a telegraphic transfer. Sometimes it doesn't come, or the LC sometimes already done, but then the documentation, that is the most common problem. There are some restrictions that they cannot comply immediately. That is the most common problem and challenging. So there we come in to help them to fix the problem so that they can solve their problem and make the transaction smoothly done.
Again, I think what you just said is being able to, address all of the issues before, educate, and be transparent. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know about you. What do you
Mhm.
think?
Yeah, the whole thing is you have to exactly know what the client wants. I mean, expectations need to be met, both sides. Okay, and that's very important. Rather than start blaming each other.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
obviously, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
yeah, yeah. Like in the Philippines right now, we have some problem because of this pandemic. Before the processing of export documentation at the port, it's so easy. But now this time, we have a little problem because the processing of online documentation, it doesn't come easy because there are some like in the Bureau of Custom, there are a small amount that you have to pay, but if not paid, still the clearance will not be released. So that one really posing problem with us. That is a very challenging job for us to weather out. So up to now, that one we are having a problem. We are trying to solve it gradually, but this time it takes 5 days to fix a problem because of this pandemic, and the people are always out because of lockdown or maybe skeletal arrangement in their office, or sometimes the people that are you have to contact, the phone is ringing but you never receive their answer. So that those are the very challenging job for us to weather out, and hopefully very soon we can make this problem be eliminated.
I want you to continue with that because obviously there's more to it, and maybe I can get a perspective on the U.S. side also, just on my own observation. So let's continue that. But before we do that, let me go ahead and do a product alert break. And this is one of our supporters. The name of the company is Shop Sari Sari. We're going to take a quick break and hope you enjoy the product alert break.
Ever wonder how to export and sell products in the USA? Ever wonder how to export and sell products globally? You're lucky you found us, because we've got exactly what you need. Introducing ShopSariSari.com. What is that? Shop Sari Sari is the leading marketplace for Filipino exporters. We sell globally to consumers and major retailers. We're a one-stop shop in importing your product and getting FDA approved. Check this out. Sell with the major brands. Registration is free. Sell in the mainstream channels. We sell your favorite Filipino brand. What do our customers think? Mark Araulio says, "Thank you for assisting me in getting my FDA approval in the United States." Anna Vergara from Arkansas, USA says, "I am thankful ShopSariSari.com was created." And from Paris, France, "I can't believe I got Filipino products delivered straight to my doorstep. What are you waiting for? Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or email us if you have any questions. Visit www.shopsarisari.com. For suppliers, sign up for free at www.shopsarisari.com/supplier.
And we're back, everybody. Hey, look, everybody, somebody's being called already. Brooks, is that your busy phone call or is that Danilo?
No, that's Danilo. That's the result of our show. It's been flooded with our YouTube channel and the Facebook. I tell you, see, Danny is now scratching his head.
You already.
Yeah, they're calling you already.
That is one of our client in Subic Bay, exporter
Really?
of frozen products going to Hamad Port.
Okay, see, that's why I know that this time with you is very important because you're probably getting calls just like that. So anyway, with that being said, let's continue because we have a short amount of time left, and I want to go ahead and finish some of the things that I always wanted, or I wanted to ask you. Now, in the import industry, this is something that I wanted Brooks to sort of ask. Brooks, did you want to ask him this question?
Yes, we're having this kind of problem on global containers. I've heard a lot of people talking about global containers. There's a shortage. Is that true, Danny?
Yes, there are a lot of shortage. Actually, Hapag-Lloyd just emailed me that they have already purchased more than 300,000 units, and then 80,000, 80 something 1,000 unit. That is for special equipment like Prosen. And even Maersk Line, they have a lot of purchases trying to uh, increase their units so that the global container scarcity will be addressed. But right now, we also having a problem because booking cargo either from Manila to US, Middle East, Australia, Europe, everything. We have a problem because the freight is kept on increasing. Uh, More than double the price of the normal charges that we used to pay before. And yet, there is a problem about space. According to the shipping company, they have a lot of backlog, so they cannot just easily accept booking, even the freight is on a premium basis.
Wow. So that means, so what solution can you give if I'm somebody trying to export? What kind of solution can you give? Like I have example, Ferdinand Soriano is now in the U.S. and I'm he's waiting for pallets. What kind of solution can you give me?
Well, the booking must have to be uh, in advance, at least 3 weeks advance prior to the ship out, so that by that time you can already secure a confirmed booking. Otherwise, if you just book it maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or 1 week, you cannot get the space because of this scarcity of containers to be used. Then I understand in the US there is also what we call uh, congestion, and a lot of containers sometimes they cannot be released because nobody is really releasing it. Maybe only China is making good now. They are making a lot of export, and yet the US, the Europe, they have problem about taking in the cargo because they cannot release it outrightly. That really contribute to the congestion, and it makes you to if you are an importer, you have to plan ahead 2 weeks ahead before you can release the cargo. That is the problem that we are encountering. I don't know if when is this going to be end.
I think everybody's going to have some sort of guess on what's going to end, Danilo. At the end of the day, with me, I don't know. I maybe putting myself down, but I like to think I'm very simple minded. And the reality is that I think with the U.S., you're absolutely right on the fact that it's backed up, but with the vaccination that's taking underway, I don't really know the exact numbers, but there should be more relief in terms of being able to bring in more people, because obviously we were the U.S. ports were really congested because of the manpower. That's at least one of the reasons why that's the case. But to me, I'd like to think that the world economy, yeah, it's going to be like this for a while until everything gets a little bit more handled when it comes to the vaccine. But it's good. At least people are spending and doing things with their money, and to me, I'd rather focus on that, because the reality is that we don't know. There's certain things we just can't control, but again, it's all about time management now. Just like there's a new normal to a certain degree, this could be it for a while. I mean, this whole thing about being backed up, but if you work with people that knows what they're doing and they understand, being able to kind of be proactive, that's the key for me every time I'm talking to you, Danny, because at the end of the day, you keep up to date with all of that. You give people perspective, then you warn them, and then all of a sudden, yes, it's going to be delayed, but then you're setting a different expectation, just like what Boots was saying. So you just have to be. That's where transparency, I think, comes in, right, Boots?
Right. Because you cannot just give empty promises. Right now, people want to bounce. People want to get up on their feet and get the business going. And if I'm trying to export or I'm trying to import, I need some answers from experts who can be trusted. And really, the key word is trusted.
I wanted to ask this question to to Danilo. The last question was really, we sort of talking about it already, about the global pandemic in terms of the challenges that you have. Is there anything else? Do you see, what is, as far as you're concerned, what do you think are the biggest concern of first-time exporters? Why do we not do more of it? Are most of the businesses that you've encountered, do they hesitate because they don't know why? Or what is the biggest challenge you think why a lot of Philippine manufacturers don't do more exporting? I mean, from that perspective, Danilo.
Well, the challenges that they must have to hurdle is that uh, how to get a best buyer that they can trust. Then on that basis, they can start gradually because it's difficult nowadays during the pandemic. A lot of people they, they they really think of uncertainty, but with somebody who could buoy them up, like giving them uh, orders, maybe they will be encouraged to do the business. And one of the best thing is to maybe have some financial expert that are able to assist them, like Danilo. That is the one thing that I am thinking of that could be of help, especially now, because in the pandemic, not all are easily giving trust and financial assistance or support because they are afraid that they may not be able to get the return of investment, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just really quick, I wanted to latch onto what you said because again, these are my own observation, but obviously this is something from you who works very closely with a lot of people, and whether they're starting to export or just thinking about it, that's exactly what it is that in spite of everything going to global pandemic, it's good because obviously, any day now there's going to be a lot more demand from the U.S. and Philippines should strive to really look at that as an opportunity. At least that's just my opinion. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot more encouragement that we need to do, and I think this show. Only I'm partial because we're doing it, but I think there's more education that needs to be done, and I think I give kudos to the Department of Trade, to Phil Export, to Export Marketing Bureau, but we need to continue to do that in terms of what we're able to really, give and encourage the Philippine manufacturers to keep doing that. But in spite of the global pandemic, because right now, at least in my opinion, I think for the country to be uplifted, the country needs to really look upon the exporting segment to be a priority. And again, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying anything except that I feel like there's a lot of opportunity, and I think that the Philippines should continue to focus in on that also.
Yeah, I think they should have to continue focus on the export because this is a money-making institution that will have to buoy up the economy of the Philippines because by exporting, helping a lot of small worker, then we can really contribute, especially Planet 60, our program can help because you can encourage a lot more entrepreneur to do a business and promote them to the U.S. as being a global partner. You can do that because our country needs more help from you guys from the U.S. rather than us giving help to you.
No, it's
Yeah,
true.
right.
I mean, I'm sure Boots has something to say on that. So, Boots, did you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I like that word education, especially to young people, what is exporting, what is importing in a layman's term. I mean, I'm very, very fond of that, and we should never stop learning. And especially you, Danny, you're able to translate and then make it into a layman's language, so easy to digest. Because with all the lingos of the CF, FOB, CFM, or whatever, I get confused. I mean, but do it in such a way that you I can assimilate, I can understand in a very simple manner. okay, without all the technicalities involved, and also the cost, So the pricing, that's very important too, right?
Well, I hope Danny that you continue to Danilo, you continue to have that mindset, because at the end of the day, I think this is a great opportunity for both countries to really continue that discussion or relationship in terms of trade. But Philippines as well, they need to really focus on that. And this is just a thing where I really believe in the Philippines being able to have all these different types of natural resources in terms of even just agriculture that they can do. And there's a lot of demand for it here in the US. So that's just my little push, so to speak, or encouragement for the agribusiness also to do that. Now, speaking of education, I wanted to take this moment to mention something that we're very proud of to be able to release, because I think Brooks has been getting a lot of correspondence or responses on his social media about I'm taking a little bit away from Danilo, that it's called the Global Expansion Partners, and basically what that is
Yeah,
I want that's what I want Butch to kind of explain a little bit. So give him, because he's the one who's been getting a lot of the responses.
I was about to sleep last night, and all of a sudden, a lot of inquiries, a lot of messages coming left and right. I said, "Oh my gosh, what is this? Where is it coming from? What's the source like?" And I traced it, and here is Mr. Ferdinand Soriano posting in LinkedIn, and the global partnership with Cal State
San
San
Bernardino.
Bernardino, and especially the Center for Global Management, and the letter. Amazing, Ferdinand. You created a tsunami here. You created the tsunami. But I think, nevertheless, this is something like Danny, you're saying now, encouraging a lot of people. We do encourage a lot of entrepreneurs really to join the program, because this program is three parties involved: the university, Planet 63, and my company. And if somebody wants to bring in their product or services from the Philippines, you don't have to leave the shores and really plunge into there, no? Because it's a lot of trial and error. Because the university will try to study it, because there's an internship for students, and then the Planet 63, and then here is our GMB. So I think it's going to be a rock and roll. I'm getting, even in fact, while I'm talking right now, I'm getting a lot of messages, Ferdinand. It's all because of you, and really, I salute you for being that creative, Mr. Planet 63.
Well, at the end of the day, the motivation is really empowerment, collaboration and transparency. The job, or rather the collaboration or the contribution of the university, is more on the research by student internship, just to give you a little bit more detail without taking a lot of time. But that's what they're providing, because there's a department called Center for Global Management, and they have students that are interested in promoting the school's global program. And that's one of the ways they do that. So they're able to contribute to this project. So basically, they're going to provide basic market research about the U.S. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to be able to sort of provide that to anyone who's interested in being in the program. And again, it's about education. So you're going to be coming into the U.S. with a little bit more confidence and empowerment, and that's the key. And obviously, Bruce and Linda are in the Philippines, as well as all the panel experts like Danilo, who will continue to do that. But at the end of the day, that's what we're just trying to achieve, because we want to contribute as a whole to what the other government agencies are doing in the Philippines, to have a perspective on this side, which is the one that I feel that again, I didn't say that they needed it, but that's my observation, is to sort of supplement what they're doing here, and it's a perspective on the U.S. side. Right.
But but more or less, it gives you the competitive advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you that fighting stand. Not just think local, but think global. Okay, and I think Filipinos are flexible when it comes to that. They are willing to bounce and really be competitive worldwide.
Before we sign off, because we're at that moment, I wanted to give Danilo one more thing that maybe he wants to say to end the show, and provide maybe any sort of wisdom, whether it be import exporting, or maybe you want to impart to our audience wisdom in terms of life. Period. It doesn't matter. It's your show, Danilo. So go ahead and say something if you'd like, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ferdinand. Well, to all those upcoming businessmen trying to go global with their company starting small, please don't be disappointed. Keep fighting. Keep doing something that will buoy up your company, and eventually we will end up successful. That is what I can impart.
Now, Boots, I'm going to go ahead and give you the microphone before I sign off. Did you want to go ahead and leave some wisdom, nuggets of wisdom to the people watching us?
Well, I always say collaboration, teamwork, trust, transparency. These are keywords that people must remember today. It's not a no man's island. We help each other. We try to bounce back. And even with this pandemic, we just have to keep our nose up. But make sure you wear the mask.
Right. Those are great words from both of you. And with that being said, let me go ahead and officially sign off. Again, thank you everyone in the Philippines. Thank you everyone in the US for watching. We want you to the way you can support this in terms of trying to just create more awareness of it and do more of the learning. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified when our next Planet 63 from Local to Global show is live again. And by the way, if you are a Philippine and U.S. manufacturer and your product or service provider, please reach out to us if you want to be on the show. We are looking for Philippine manufacturers already to make that step, take that step of wanting to go local to global. And we have some amazing U.S. exporters wanting to do the same thing for the Philippine market. So you're going to see them on our show. And again, if you want to reach out to us, go to info@planet63.com or visit us at www.planet63.com. And if you gentlemen don't have anything else to say, I'm going to go sign off. We're good, right?
Yep.
All right, everyone. With that being said, I want all of you to have a great rest of the week, and let's go global.